Good morning, Breakfast Club family. Top of the morning to everyone. This is Mark Stevens with our host, Joe Shue, saying welcome to the Breakfast Club on December 16th, 2015. Hope everybody had a great day yesterday. Looking to some great days ahead and got some good information for you this morning. Hopefully all of you got the notice. You should have gotten the notice because it definitely went out. And you probably see something different in there. Well, guess what? You need to expect something different all the time. New things, new ideas. We're going to keep progressing, as I've often said, on and on and on. Now, we said we basically finished the system and the funnel and the manual and that, but but we're not. We still have more to do, as I did say as well. So we're going to keep moving on. So we're going to, share some things with you this morning. So get out your pens and your paper, so you may want to take a few notes. But we are going to move this train ahead, and we're going full steam ahead. And we know that some people are having successes already. We'll talk about that with the new, program and everything. So let's get started. And Joe, I see you there. Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Good morning, Mark. I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
I am fantastic and amazing. I am excited.
Good.
I am really excited.
Well, a lot of this time, we talked, as you know, about getting the things in place. And unfortunately, when you go to these companies, the companies themselves depend on the affiliates to put things in place because it's not their job. What we do and what they do are different. So companies like Carrot Bars have their own agenda with getting things ready for the affiliates. But I think a lot of times they forget about handbooks and, running it like, I would imagine the corporate offices of these companies have their own handbooks for their employees, but not for affiliates. And so there's a couple of things that need to be addressed. So, we've been spending time on handbooks and getting it all in order, marketing systems, but, there's two sides to that. So in addition to all that, I've been working on this, onboarding it's called. And, what happens when you bring someone on board? What do you do? I mean, we've talked about it before, but the truth is that most people don't really know what to do with that person and have guidelines and steps and a plan for them. So they'll let a week go by or 2 weeks go by and say, I haven't heard from them. And it just has to be, you really have to understand business. If you were running a business and had an employee, you wouldn't haphazardly run it. You'd expect them to be there. I mean, it's not like we're employers. But when we make commitments to do things, we should be held accountable.
Exactly.
And when you notice someone isn't doing what they said, well, there's an old story that says if you can't change your people, change your people. So that's why you have to spend 90% of your time looking for new people, because most of the people will probably do nothing. But I suspect that a lot of that has to do with they don't know what to do. And they watch certain groups bring a person in. Next thing you know, within a couple of days, they got them phone blasting, putting money up, and don't even know what to say to these people. And then they don't realize that, you're going to do 1,000 phone blasts and get maybe 3 people to talk to. So all that is, it's just a problem. And when you want something fixed, certainly you have to know what the problem is, identify it, and this has been an ongoing problem in the industry for 40 years. So.
Well, Joe, what it's been is a lack of something. Just like when you go into business, you have to have a business plan. Well, guess what? You have to have education. I think that's the biggest problem, education. And, the first thing a person has to do is educate themselves. It's something that needs to be done. And there's some steps to that of educating yourself, because in addition to education, as we said yesterday, you have to have your marketing. You have to market yourself. So you have to educate yourself in order to market yourself, to know how to do it properly, so you can get, take care of your warm market and your cold market. But you have to know how to do that. And, those are some of the things that I guess we need to go over to make sure that our people know exactly what to do from day one, from week one, from month one, and and even in a 90-day cycle. So I think we need to educate people on that.
Yeah, let's talk about this process here, because once again, it wasn't just that we're working on yourself and get you going and get to the class. So it's what do I do with that new person? And as you saw today in that notice, it's partner onboarding. What do they do on board? And if you do it right, you can boost the performance and the retention. If a person's making money, they're going to stay. And they're more likely to stay if they have a structured program. So let's take a look at a couple of things here. Here's what it's going to do. And so we have turned this into a class. We're going to highlight some things today, and on Monday we'll continue this and take a couple of these steps. So first thing you have to do is the critical steps of the onboarding process. What are they? So let's take a look at what the critical steps really are. So I need to, just obviously take a look at notes and things here. But number one is what Mark said, education. About what? Educate yourself about what? Well, first of all, your company. You need to educate yourself about your own company. So that's part of the process. You have to educate yourself on the marketing tool that you use, that company itself, how to use that and why you're using it. And you can do that through the affiliate handbook. You'll see that information in there. That's part of the education. Once you belong to Tools Rock and get in the back office, you get that affiliate handbook and you start understanding. That's what happens, because everything's in there that you need. So you start educating yourself on those steps. That's part of the process. And then you educate yourself, as Mark said, on marketing. And marketing, what is it? It's the announcement of your business, basically, or what you do to get your information in front of people. What particular tools are you using to do that? And then who are you doing it to? So there are two steps to that, or two sections or two segments. One is announcing the business to everybody you know. And we're going to talk about that and show you the steps on the first day in a minute. But that's one of the things. The next thing is marketing your business in a cold market. So one is warm, one is cold. So you have to understand what education you need. You need the education on announcing your business, what to do, what tools to use, and of course what to say when talking to those people, because you are going to have to pick up the phone and talk to them. And then it's the marketing of it, the people that you don't know. What do I say to those people? How do I go about it? What do I talk to them about without looking foolish? The class will teach you that. So in that communication class, it is now available immediately. When a person comes in, it's one of the first things they should be doing that first week. We'll look at the first week in a second. They have to learn the skills, communication skills. They have to learn who they are in that process. And that sounds strange, but people don't know who they are when they're making a phone call, meaning they don't know their role. They don't know that they're not supposed to be the know-it-all. And then, they have to know what direction they're going in. They have to know to introduce a director, how to do that properly. And they have to know then how to become a director. Why? Because this business is about helping people. You've heard this before. To get what you want, you got to help others get what they want. You can't do that. I mean, some people are never going to be able to do a three-way call. And if that scares you and you don't get educated enough, okay. But a good professional person who really wants to make money here has got to learn how to do a three-way call, not only to introduce people, but to be the director and help them. And I guarantee you that most people, I'm going to guess 80 to 90% of the people, can't do an effective three-way in this company, let alone the rest of the companies. Okay, let's take a look. They're the things that need to be accomplished, okay? So let's take a look at the first day. What should happen the first day? Well, obviously you have to register with KB, which means Karatbars International. You have to register with Karatbars. And then you have to get a tool. Otherwise, you are going to be depending on yourself, your own skills, your own email system to send notices to people, picking up the phone call. And if you don't have a tool, can you still do it? Yes. But boy, it's going to take a lot more work. A lot more work. You need a tool, and that tool is ToolsRock, which is set up to give people information, both the warm and the cold market, 2 different websites to send them to get them the information. One, again, warm market to announce business and say, hey, if you ever need me, I'm here. And the other one is an aggressive campaign to find the interested party, people that want to manage a business from home. So that's the 2 things there that you have to accomplish in registering anyway. So after registering, what do? Well, now you're registered with TSR. And again, if you're using another system, that's okay. We just recommend this because this is where the tools are. So you go down and you print out the manual and you print out the checklist. That's how you get started. Okay? So then, you just have to make sure that the registration and tasks are completed. And that's what that checklist is all about, telling you what you should complete. And when it's completed, we're still in day 1. That should take you the first day. If you were working that first day, even if it's 6 o'clock at night, you got to work a couple hours. It's nothing to get registered at those 2 things. All right? And then when they're completed, you have to follow your steps to get your websites unlocked. Now that you're registered, you can't just register for the company. Once you register at TSR, you have to go unlock those websites. You need passwords to unlock them, and again, it's in the manual. That's where they are. They're in the training manual. So you go back to there, and we have a handbook in the training manual. So in the manual itself, there are the websites, the passwords to unlock those websites. So that's the first thing you got to do. You got to unlock them and get them ready to do your campaigns. Okay, so then the next step is that you set up the categories who you're going to market to. This is all in that back office. I just want to review it a little. You set your websites up, and then you say, well, okay, so who do I send these to? Well, you have to first set up categories to send them to. And you'll see that back there. Categories, meaning, is it my friends? Or is it a cold market? In other words, when you go back there and set up the categories, you should make the categories one of 2 things: a warm market category and a cold market category. That's all. All the warm market categories, what goes there are the people you know. The other one is the people you don't know. So you must set those up. So it's websites and then categories. And at that point, you're going to be ready to set up your autoresponder, which simply is a tool that automatically sends your website where people can view them. If they have an interest in the initial introduction, they fill something out, and then they get to see the other information. One of them, they get to see a lot about Carrot Bars, and the other one, they're going to see a business presentation. So once those are set up, the autoresponder, the websites, the category, and autoresponders, then you must connect your leads, the contacts. You start adding your contacts. So this is where you decide what category your contacts go in. This is not only practical, but logical. When you look at the steps, you start adding those contacts and you designate where the contacts go. Which category will they fall into? So that when you start your autoresponder, you assigned those contacts to a certain autoresponder, so a certain website to see. Obviously, warm is friends, cold is people that you don't know. So you must get that set up in that particular sequence. Once you get that going, now your first day should be complete. Now, okay, so maybe you take 2 days to do it. But really, first step, and let's call it that as opposed to first day, because maybe you start it late at night, who knows. But if you have a few hours in the daytime, all of that should be and can be completed. Now you basically are set up for business. No different than you opened up a drugstore on the corner and you had to go get things ready and putting the shelves up and getting the things stocked on there and getting your register ready and, getting things in place to get going. You haven't done anything yet except preparation. And we all know it's like cooking. You know, most of the time for you, the work time is in preparation. It's like a baseball game. Most of the time is spent on the practice field preparing for the game. So what you're doing here is preparing for the game and getting organized and understanding what you are doing. This is all part of that first day, or that first segment, that first task that you must complete. It has many elements to it. Now, Mark, let's just talk about this first day concept here, what it is we do. And again, let's just call it 1 day or 2 days, whatever it is. It's the first segment. And I can tell you this, if you bring somebody to the table and they are coming in to go to work, and it's taking them 2-3 days, they're not answering your calls, they've registered, they don't have their KYCs done, none of that's done, they didn't buy a package, and you're chasing them for a couple of days, you might as well forget those people. Leave a message and tell them, give me a call when you're ready, I'll be here to help you. You know, or you know, if you get them on the phone, they say, well, I have to do this. Okay, well, great. You let me know when you're ready. I got to move on, you know, with helping someone else get going. And don't waste your time thinking this person is going to all of a sudden, you know, take off. They haven't followed directions. It's one of the key things that you have to find out during your interview. Is this person going to follow directions? That's why you ask that question in the director call. You know, with a little training and a lot of support, can you see yourself doing what it takes? This is what doing what it takes is. Setting up your business. Now let's go back just for a second and say, I don't want to use an autoresponder. Then you will do this all manually. Can you do it? Yes. Should you do it? Not my opinion. So just comment on that part, Mark. Then we'll go what should be accomplished the first week.
Yeah, Joe, in addition to that, what you've said so far, the other thing is that you have to have contacts to contact. So if you don't, then you're going to have to get some leads.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, you know, in business, you have to spend some money to run your business. So if you don't have, you know, a good amount of people that you know, or you haven't met a lot of people, then you're going to have to purchase some leads, and then you're going to have to put them into your contact system. That's the importance of knowing how to do all of this and set up your autoresponders. That's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, let me actually elaborate on that a little bit. I am glad you brought that up, because part of that, you know, start adding your contacts, as you said. The cold market comes from your friends, family, and acquaintances. These are people, it might be your next door neighbor who you're not comfortable introducing a business to, but you're saying, I have a business and I have a product. And here's what, you know, so you look at that. Well, so where do you get those leads or names and contacts from? Well, your database, that's it. Friends, people you know, and try to gather up as many emails as you can. You know people aren't going to follow you to a business, and put them in the, you know, the announcement category. And then to get the cold market leads, Mark, you're right. You have to, there's 3 places to get them. Your own database. If you're a networker or you've been in networking and you have a whole list of people that you know are in networking and you want to tell them what you're doing, then you have a little database of those people. And some have a lot of those people. So you use that. Or you have to purchase them, like you said. Where? If you're in Tools Rock, get them from there. If you got other companies and other programs you use, and you know you can go out and you know, and pay a monthly fee to get hundreds a day. Hey, you can do that too. Or number 3, you have to farm them. I know that Victor is he's very proficient in farming leads. He knows how to get them for nothing. There's, you know, you harvest them, in other words. That's a little better word, I guess. You have to harvest them from the internet. You have to go out and, you know, be out there and find a way to find contacts, you know, to put in the database. And so just remember, it's a numbers game. You know, getting 20 people, harvesting 20, I mean, will you get response from that? Sometimes. A lot of times, no. But you have to be aware of where to get them. Thanks for bringing that up, Mark. I forgot that.
Here's another key point in that, Joe, that everybody needs to know. In our system, in our Tools Rock system, if you put contacts in, depending upon the plan that you have, which is $19.99 or $49.99, you can put them in 5 at a time and maybe 10 a day. But now, if you don't want to do all of that, then you can buy leads from Tools Rock, and they will put the entire leads that you buy into your contact management system. something very important.
That's what I would do if I were someone new and said, where do I? Now, of course, look, let's take a look at this. It takes money to do some of this stuff, of course. Of course it takes money. I mean, no business, and I don't like to tell people they're starting a business. I mean, in a way, you are, but you're not really in business yet until you get this stuff straightened out. Until you get it all set up and then start making progress and making, having some hope that you're doing it right and that you're going to start getting some transactions, which is what we're here for.
Yeah, and very important. And after doing this, and this is all going to occur, within your first week and everything, you need to get in the communication class, because if you've got these people and you don't know how to talk to them in a professional manner, like I said, some will beat you up and then some will get away from you. And you might lose a key person that could take your business to the stratosphere. So it's very important. Communication is very important.
All right, let's take the first week now. Got a few minutes left here. Let's take this first week. Obviously, complete the freebies. By the time the week goes by, your 7 days to 10 days, you should have the things we just talked about in place, obviously. The second thing you should have accomplished during that week, since that is now, the communication class is now available on a, request basis. You can do it almost immediately now. So that should be done the first week. You should be attending the Breakfast Club or listening to the Breakfast Club from the recordings. So if you registered for the Breakfast Club and didn't show up, I don't know if you get a notice. I guess Victor would know that. But either way, it's available on a YouTube channel. If I open the call, which I did today, then it's on mine. So either check my YouTube channels to see the recording, okay? So you should pass that along to people so that they can see that. The next thing, by the end of the week, you should have read the affiliate handbook. You're in Tools Rock, you've got your tool, the affiliate handbook is in there, and you should have accomplished that. Reading it, understanding it, calling people if you have some questions. You should have completed the checklist by 1 week. The checklist is in there, it takes you step by step, and you should have completed that checklist. 7 to 10 days. You should also, during that week, should have stayed in touch with the person who introduced you, or who they introduced, maybe they introduced you to someone else that you're in touch with, have maybe a little better communication with. But either way, you should be talking to someone at least every other day. You should be communicating and find out what is my next task. Don't be embarrassed to find that out. Most people in this industry have no clue what to do. You should have sent emails, either privately or with Tools Rock, to your warm market people that you know. People that you put in that database. If you didn't put them in there and you're not using an autoresponder, you should create an Excel spreadsheet, put your names of all your people on there, send them the email. We're going to get more in detail in a few minutes here about that. But you should have sent them one email, the very first one, that tells them that want to know that you're in business. Now, if you don't have the TSR system, you don't know the letters we're sending. They're all set up. They're all set up for you. So you should, if you're not in that system, it's going to be much more difficult. But if you are, you should have sent a couple of letters should have already gone out. They're set for the first day and then 4 days later. And they should have already been out to your database. Now, you also should learn how to pick up the phone, and that warm market database, you should have no problem calling and saying, hey, Mark, it's Joe giving you a quick call here. How you doing? I sent you over an email with, I don't know if you knew it, but I have my own business now. I'm learning how to manage a business from home. I'm eventually going to have a successful business here, but I wanted you to see what it was. Did you get that email? Yeah, I got it. Yeah, but I noticed that you didn't watch that video. Could you do me a favor? Watch it. Just watch it. I'll get back with you. You can't buy anything right now. I just wanted you to know I was in business. Listen, if you take that approach, there's no harm, no foul. People won't think you're chasing them. Just do it. So you should have completed that. We're talking week 1. You should have sent those emails either privately or through a marketing system, following up just what I said on those emails, giving them a call, finding out. You should have started your marketing campaign, meaning you should have leads in that system, and the other website should be going out to them. Now, if you haven't been to the class, you're going to have a difficult time even wanting to pick up the phone and say something to someone who got a letter that said, I'd like to speak with you about managing a business from home with my company. Mark, I can't even fathom that an individual would send that email and be able to pick up the phone and know what to do.
No,
How would they do it?
I don't think they'll be able to. Really don't.
No, you go back to the letter I sent out today. Here, listen to this. I'm going to read this very quickly. I'm just going to read a portion of that. Most companies devote less time to planning their onboarding procedures than they do their holiday party. A mistake that costs greatly in your bottom line and your reputation. How do you possibly run a business without teaching the people what to say and what to do? How do you do that? I don't know. You can't hire a receptionist, for your doctor's office or lawyer's office without those people knowing how to handle that phone, your procedures, your particular individual procedures for that office. There's a manual they give them, and they say, look, I don't care what you did in so-and-so's office. Here's what we do. So that's the other thing. They should have started their marketing campaign, but by then you should have been through that communication class, and I promise you, even through 1-2 sessions, you're going to know who you are, how to pick up the phone, feel comfortable, and not be the person who has to answer all the calls, and you'll learn how to avoid being stepped on because you're only going to be scheduling appointments for a director. And you should have role-played a few times, which now comes up to the leadership role of the person who brought you in. Either they need to role-play with you a little bit, or they need to get you to somebody that can. So those 10 things have to be accomplished the first week. That's what has to happen. Now, again, we're going to have these. You're going to see all these things, in a class. Just like the communication, the foundational class, this is going to be a foundational onboarding class. Okay, let's talk about the first 90 days. This is very interesting. By then, you should have purchased gold 3 times. You got 90 days went by. You should have followed the instructions in the checklist or in the affiliate handbook, and you should have been on automatic purchase for at least once a month. That's how this industry works. You must purchase your own product. If you want people, you want transactions in your organization, well, you have to have transactions, and 1 a month is sufficient if you want to move along that slow. Well, that's not slow. That's called the slow track, but it's a normal track in my opinion, Mark, because most companies require you have to have 1 purchase a month to get your check. Here, you don't have to have any. But the truth is, if everybody took that path, how would you get paid? I mean, all you're doing is exchanging cash for gold here anyway. So we're way different than everybody else. You're not even spending money here. You still have your money here, just in a different form. And you can't go to the supermarket and give them that little card and say, here, eventually, maybe, not now, but still you have cash. You got the gold. You still have the money, I should say.
Yeah.
So you should have, in 3 months' time, 90 days, you and your team should have each purchased 1 gram of gold. Let me show you what would happen if you did that through the year, all right? You should have completed the foundational, advanced, and the on-board class in 90 days. It should have been done. And now you're really ready to help others. And you know what? Once again, you want to get to where you want to go, help others get there. All right, this is the part now that gets a little more in detail for people. We got a few more minutes left. You got to keep records, people, seriously. But the number 2 reason for failure in business is poor record keeping. And you think that's just about the money end. I got news for you. It's not. Imagine if you didn't keep records on when your employees came to work and you had a local, concrete business, what they call brick and mortar business, and you didn't have any idea when your employees were coming and going, or what work was being done, or if you had an appointment at a doctor's office, you didn't know who was even registered and who was supposed to come in for appointments. I mean, come on. We're not looking at this business professionally enough in this industry. So there's the first thing. You got to keep accurate records. On what? First of all, on the number of emails that went out. Learn how to do a spreadsheet. Learn how to get a spreadsheet. I don't care if you know or don't know. I mean, I don't care if you don't call people to do it. Go Google it. Anything you want to know in this world today, you just got to Google it. Go Google and put in there, how do I keep a spreadsheet? It'll show you. How do I set one up? It'll show you. So number of emails that went out, number of calls that you made, whether they were just cold, follow up on the email you sent to all your friends. So you should have 2 spreadsheets, one for your cold, one for your warm market. Number of emails that were sent, number of calls you made, with or without a follow-up. How many people clicked through your website? That should be a number. You should have that. Should be a category. How many clicked through? You sent out 1,000 emails, 27 clicked through. You should know that. And then you should have a list of the people who did it. Now, our contact manager does tell us that. But you have to go in and click on each category to see it. You've got to organize this. Remember, number 2 reason for business failure is lack of organization or poor record keeping. So go in and put the records together and see the people and follow up with them. How many people did you follow up? Not just click through, number of followed up and connected with. You followed up with 27 of them and 14 you connected with. What does connected mean? It means that you talked to them. You said, hey, I noticed you went through my website. I want to speak to you about managing a business from home with my company. Is this a good time, or do we need to reschedule for a time that's more convenient for both of us? You need to go through that routine with them. Here's a key one. This is going to tell you whether you're going to find this one person per month, which is what you're looking for. How many did you 3-way to a director? Have a column for that. How many of those 27 who clicked through, 16 or 14 that you actually talked to, how many of those got over to a director? And then finally, how many are registered? And you should keep notes on how your director handled the call, who the director was and how they handled it. Make a note on that person. Did they do it right? Did they do it to your satisfaction? Or did they do a 40, 50-minute call to answer all the questions and beg somebody to come in, which is what most of those people do. And finally, those 90 days, you should have 3 personally sponsored new partners. 1 per month, whether you got 2 the first month and 1 in the next 2, doesn't matter. 1 per month. If you were to do that, go do the math. You get 1 in 30 days, that person gets their 1 in 30 days, and the process continues where everybody gets 1 in 30 days. What did Robert Kiyosaki say? He didn't say get rich quick. He said money doesn't make you rich. Business skills make you rich. Now, you do the math and see how many people you are going to have. If you get 1, they get theirs, those 3 got theirs, those 6 got theirs, and map that out over 12 months. And watch what happens to your income in 12 months. And that's what Kiyosaki says. You need to plan for 1 year. Why would we follow anybody else except the guy who knows more about building home businesses than Robert Kiyosaki? Why would you stretch? Now, first of all, if you want to get aggressive and go do it in 6 months, that's good, or 3 months. Certainly, there's a 12-week plan here that you could follow to go do it. I suspect you'll, be looking for a lot of disappointment by doing that. It doesn't mean you can't go get 2-3 people a month and try and help them. Everybody try to do that. I'm not saying that, but I'm telling you the least amount of business that you can be doing is 1. You can't do 0. You're not in business at 0. You can only do 1. That's the business, is at least do 1. That's what Safford used to always say. The worst you could do is 1. You do 1 sale a month, and they do, and they do, and they do, and the numbers fall in. If you can't find people who want to manage a business from home, and everybody just follow the process, get educated in these particular fields and categories, and go find 1 new person per month. And along the way, from your friends and your family and acquaintances, probably pick up a sale every 60 days. and you have 6 actual purchasers at the end of the month. But remember, by the end of the year, you'll have almost a couple of thousand people all purchasing gold once per month. You think you're not going to have a check? So, Mark, that's the first 90 days of what should happen in business. This is just a flavor of what that class is going to look like. And then we'll continue on Monday what the first year should look like and cover those other categories, which one of them is, what's the difference, or, shift your onboarding focus to the affiliates of different generations. I'll give you an example. We have a guy recently who understands. He's actually taking the class next week. The minute the affiliate handbook became available, and the minute that the funnel became available 2 days ago, the marketing websites, that evening, this person who happens to be on the call right now got to work because he's serious. I don't think he's had great success in the future. I think that's what he told me. But now he sees something different. And he went to work, and by that night had put his information again out on social networking. That's why they talk about these 2 categories, the different generations. I'm not, educated in social networking, and obviously he is. And people in different generations are, so they're going to market in different places. He goes out on the internet, and he's not the only one. We've got a number of people contacting me, telling us exactly what's going on. By that night, he had 6 people click through his business presentation, and we'll see where that goes. That was just 2 nights ago. Now, I don't even know what's happened since then, and I suspect he'll tell me. But and he said, oh my gosh, I'm getting a great response from this. I put a great ad out there. Now, don't ask me who it is, and don't ask me what he said, because it's his private information, and you know what? You want to keep an edge. You don't always tell what everything you know. And I suspect he would want to, keep that to himself and his team on how he did that, and I honor him for that. But I want to congratulate him for doing that. And if I say his name, everybody will call him or try to contact him. I'm not going to do that. But I know he can pat himself on the back right now and know that we are extremely excited about what he did. Very first day, within hours, he had it all ready to go. Presentations, people contacting him, clicking through. And I can tell you right now, he's going to be successful. Wait till he gets out of the class, Mark, by Monday night, which is what he's doing, taking that class over the weekend. So anyway, that's what we need to look at. So congratulations to him and to the rest of the people who contacted us telling us they're having success. People are going through. Even some of their family and friends are looking at the stuff saying, oh, my gosh, I didn't know you were in business. So that being said, Mark, over to you. We'll pick this up on Monday. Looking at the first year, how to do the shift for the different generations and the most common mistakes of the orientation programs. Most people get orientated, don't need to make mistakes on those things. And then looking at a couple of companies that have really good orientation processes, and then the steps before onboarding. Before day one, how do you prepare to get your person moving on board and moving forward? How do you do that? And that's what that last challenge is, onboarding steps to take before day one. We'll cover that on Monday, and thanks for being here today. So over to you, Mark.
Okay, Joe, thanks a lot. Another thing, let me say this before we close out. Another thing about education, you have to educate yourself as to what's going on out in the world, in the business world, with employers, because a lot of you don't know, but there are a lot of employers that are dumping 401ks into IRAs, costing their ex-employees billions of dollars, and they don't really necessarily have a right to do that, but that's what they do. So my point is that when you get yourself educated, and when you know what you have in this business presentation, and in this funnel, and in this system, you can counteract all that and help these people that you'll be able to get your 1 a month, or your 3 in 90 days, and maybe 3 a week. It's just, again, how do we get paid? We get paid in direct proportion to the amount of effort we put forth. So the amount of effort you put forth is going to be the amount of pay that you set up for yourself. So keep that in mind, and let's do what we need to do so that we all can become successful together. So with that being said, Joe, anything you want to say before I close out?
No, just thanks for being here, everybody, and we'll pick this up on Monday. Have a great weekend. Go to work. Look, spend the weekend getting prepared. What we just said. Go to your handbook. Go to the training room and start getting set up. If you have any struggles, I don't mind helping people, Mark, in that area if they've done their homework. But don't call me for passwords. They're in there. If you want to know how to get the TSR, that's one thing. But if you get in there and you don't know where to go, and you need to well, first let me tell you now, if you're new and you register for Tools Rock to get into the training room, the password is the vault. The vault. But to get into the other thing, once you get into the training room, everything else is there. So, but if you need help and you struggle a little bit, a few people have called me, I can guide you. You can call me, and I'll help you out with that. But other than that, go get set up. Get ready for Monday. Get ready all weekend with your contacts. Get things set up and, move this forward. And you know what? If you have not been to that communication class, Tuesday and Wednesday, we're doing an advanced director class. So, if you get the regular foundational class done by Monday night, you can be in there Tuesday. And you can be in with these people who have been through this several times. So that's what I wanted to say. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, let me just let's address just a couple of questions I think are pretty important. Gloria says, I have a lot of leads in my Tools Rock back office. Is there a way? It disappeared. Hold on a minute. Let me find it again. Okay, I have a lot of leads in my Tools Rock back office. Is there a way that I can bulk send them the cold lead letters, or do I have to do it one at a time?
Send them, you mean through Tools Rock, or send them through your regular, Gmail account?
Now they're already in the tool. It appears that they're already in the Tools Rock back office. And is there a way that I can bulk send them?
You know what? I don't know who that is. They can call me on that. Just give me a call. I'll walk you through that. There's no sense in going over that now. You have to go back there and click on certain things, and you can get those started. Yes, just call me. My phone number is on the announcement today, so whoever that is, call me. I'm not looking at that, Mark. I don't see that question, but I do see anything else you want to address, because I want to look at Paulette and answer this as well.
Speaking of the handbook, do you want us to return the acknowledgement of the receipt of the handbook? Yes, go through it and definitely send that back in, because then the person that you're working with, they'll know that you're actually doing that, and they'll be willing to help you more.
Yeah, send it off to your sponsor and tell them, hey, didn't you want to see this? Maybe they'll get involved.
Yeah.
And, just work with somebody. The point of that, to return that and sign it, is to acknowledge that you have it and, keep accountable to someone. If you've been through the class and have a partner, maybe be accountable with them. Otherwise, call your upline and tell them, hey, this is what I'm doing and this is what I got. Maybe you can educate them a little bit. Otherwise, let's find you a partner that you can, what you're really talking about is accountability. That's what it's for. Let me look. I haven't read this yet. I need to read the whole thing on Paulette. Logging here on the webinar is very tough for me this morning. Going over works better, and not sure why the webinar room loads all the time rather than stream like you. I don't know. Victor, are you there? Can you answer that? Dell Professional System and updated Windows 7. And others having problems with the logging on the streaming. I don't know exactly what that means.
I'm not sure exactly what she's talking about either. I had trouble getting in this morning on one computer, but the one where I'm watching it is coming in very nicely. There might have been some Google issues this morning, but other than that, I don't know.
Paulette, is it all the time or just this morning? And yes, Max, we will be absolutely going over that today, I promise. Just give me a little bit of time. I got a meeting right after this, and I'm going to get to you, I promise. Mark tried to force me to get to you yesterday, and I didn't get there.
Can you read that question to me again? Paulette's question.
Yeah, the lagging here on the webinar is really tough for me this morning. Going over to YouTube, it works better. So, not sure why the webinar room loads all the time rather than stream like YouTube. Just a note for Joe to let him know. Yeah, I have a brand new Dell professional system and uploaded Windows 7. It just sounds like she's having. I don't know what it means that she went to YouTube and streamed it. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I'm not technically advanced in that area. So maybe we can address this. Paulette, call me, all right? And then we'll get Victor on the phone and we'll talk about that. Let's just see what it is. We'll do that privately. Just give me a call. We'll three-way into Victor.
Now, FYI for everybody, now once you do that, you get a thank you email for attending the webcast. And guess what? There's a link in there. I think there's a little yellow strip where you can click that on, and it takes you right to YouTube, and you can see it again.
Abby, do you have a ToolsRock system? He's asking, how do you get that in a meeting?
To show in a meeting, then what you need is probably one of those LCDs where you can,
you could go to your own website. All you got to do is turn your computer on, go to your own website, and go to page 2, and you can watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do, but I didn't know if he's into. I think he's in ToolsRock. I'm not sure. If he is, you go to your back office, turn it on, and let it sit there and go. Just do it in Chrome. I suggest everybody, if you're going to do it on your own, do it in Chrome.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's pretty much.
Shirley, a little bit later, I did talk about your issue today. I have answers for you, so in an hour or so, it would be better. Max says he knows what she's talking about. So Max, when we talk, we'll see what Max is our junior genius. Yesterday also had a lot of problems with buffering and lagging. That's Roger. So I wonder what that's all about. I have no idea. I don't know if it's computers, not enough space.
Sometimes if you have a lot of windows open, that could happen too. If you have a lot of windows open at the same time, and then you run into a buffering problem, and if you've been watching some videos and things of that nature.
Hey, Victor, is it better that they use Chrome to access that?
It's always better to use Chrome when you're trying to use a Google platform.
There you go.
But it's not absolutely necessary.
Maybe that's what's causing some problems.
A lot of issues will be caused, just like Mark said, a lot of issues are caused by the fact that people didn't clear their history, and they may have had a video running prior to that they didn't shut down. Some simple things like those. You really need to close a lot of tabs if you have a lot of tabs open. If you have a second browser open, it's advantageous to close the second browser. But having said all that, Google does have their issues, and sometimes the Hangout platform is not as responsive as people would like it to be. So,
let me just say hello. I don't know if you saw that, Mark, but your buddy in Saudi Arabia is saying hello to you, Gregory.
Okay.
Saudi Arabia, and there you go. So, all right. Well, look, everybody.
Well, hello, Gregory, then.
Yeah, he's there. All right, so just give me a call with some of those questions we had. Close all other videos, Matt says. Yeah, look, some of these issues just come up. Try to actually use Google Chrome. We always log in Chrome because that's what you're supposed to do. So do some of those things. Let's see if we can clear it up. In the meantime, I got to take care of a few phone calls and a meeting coming up in about 10 minutes. So. Anyway, Mark, let me just say goodbye to everybody, and thanks for being here today, and we'll pick it up Monday, but have a good weekend, everybody, and do a little bit of work, get your contacts, get everything straightened and going, and Abby, if you need to use that tool, I don't see your answer here if you are actually in ToolsRock. If you are, it's real easy to do. He said, okay, got it. Okay, good enough.
Okay, everybody, well, let's go out and make it a great day. Have a great weekend. Peace and blessings to you, and we will, continue this on Monday on the Breakfast Club, so make sure you get back and invite somebody to the Breakfast Club. Invite, people that's in your organization so they can get this information that, again, you can grow together and your business will grow at a much faster pace if you're helping other people, if they know what to do. So get people here to the Breakfast Club. Bring somebody with you on Monday so they can get this information and go from there. So with that being said, peace and blessings to you. This is Mark Stevens for our host, Joe True. Go out, make it a great day, and we will see you back here Monday on The Breakfast Club. Peace and blessings, everybody. Make it a great day.